Hello, it is Bones McKay, and I am dead. Last night was the halfway party for NaNoWriMo. 15 days halfway through. We should all be at 25k, but we're not. I'm not. It's fine if you're not. I am. Okay, so like the last week's NaNoWriMo theme was exhausted. This week's theme is like burnt out and dead. So there's that. Maybe it'll get better. I don't know. What do I even talk about in these? What do I even talk about in these? I'm like forgetting a little bit. I got my notebook here. So as usual, I am free to answer questions. I'll answer all the questions you had last week at the end of this video. If you have more questions on stuff, I'll go forth with them. This week has been like so awful in terms of writing. I've been really just bummed out, honestly. I'm trying not to be. I feel like maybe I'm gonna pep through it, perhaps, but I'm also just like, oh. I feel happy now that I've kind of stepped away from my novel, but like, damn, I don't know how this Nano is gonna go through. This is like the anti-pep talk. Okay, so let me get into my week 2-ness, like what happened in week 2. Yeah, like, so last week I said I was probably gonna be really pepped and really start, and like right after the video I was gonna do it, but damn, that did not happen at all. I think I did like my first like under 1,000 word day. I'm not sure exactly, but I didn't do super as well as I thought, and I was really exhausted. And then on the Monday I tried, like on the Saturday I did the live stream. I struggled to hit my word count again after the live stream. I thought I would be able to do it before, but I didn't, and I really pushed myself as hard as I could to get my word count right by the end of 12 a.m. right before like the new day hit. And then it was like a snowy day, and I was really excited about the snow, so I was pretty distracted because I like snow. And then on the Sunday after the stream, I had like a really good day on the Sunday after the stream, and like I just stopped thinking about words and word counts in general because we had this big day planned. So we went to like the trail. It was like kind of like it wasn't super snowy or anything. It was like nice and cool outside. It was pretty awesome. I really like the trail. It's just kind of like one of the many trails in our area, and it's like a conservation area, so it's got like all sorts of different segments of the path that have like different like types of trees going on throughout it. It's pretty nice. I like it. There's like a marsh area. It was really fun. We had a good long walk through there, and before then we went to like the mall, and we went on like a little shopping trip. We got a bunch of like clothes and stuff. Like, this 'tis the season to be shopping, apparently. I feel like these vlogs will make me sound like I have a shopping addiction thing going on. I don't really. I'm just recently, like, as November approaches, like, I start buying so much stuff. I am the worst. But yeah, we went and did that. We got a bunch of like winter clothes, basically. I got boot socks. It was great. After that, we went to Starbucks because Ursula got her gift card for winning like a costume contest. Not a costume contest, the pumpkin carving contest. So we went to Starbucks. It was like a really packed, terrible Starbucks. I thought we were gonna like sit down and write for a while, but it was awful, and like the chairs were so stiff and terrible, and just like 30 minutes of drinking my praline latte, I was like, I hate this. We are not writing here. So we went home, and I thought like, okay, time to sit down, get my word goal. I struggled again. This was like my second day of just like utter struggle. And then on Monday after that was my live stream, and I got pretty far in my live stream. If you were part of it, you knew my struggle, because like I have hit the worst wall when it comes to my story. I don't know what it is. I wrote myself into kind of a bit of a plot hole for a bit there, and even though I've kind of figured it out, I've just lost so much motivation to do it. And like, this happens to me every year, and I feel like I can just beat it every time, like, because I'm so hyped during the first few weeks. But then I hit the midpoint and I just like I plateau so hard. I'll get into like what my plans are for that, but damn, that was the worst. Yeah, I just got really stumped at the midpoint. And then throughout the week, I just haven't been hitting my daily word goal at all. And I've just been pretty like just bummed out, like all over bummed out. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's like seasonal affective because I've been going out way more and getting way more sun than usual. I've been keeping up with walks kind of because I wanted to like keep walking and like enjoying things. And so like, yeah, for like the past 2 days, it's just been like really hard to like convince myself to do anything, let alone write. So that was the thing there. Like Tuesday and Wednesday, I just kind of zoned out. I think like Tuesday, I like slept on the couch like half the day, and I've kind of realized that I was like super exhausted. And for Wednesday, I just didn't really write much. I haven't really written anything over like 300 words in the past few days. Yikes. Frick. I don't know what's going on there. And then yesterday I wrote like 10 words. So yesterday I just kind of decided to embrace the fact that I'm just really stuck, and that I feel like if I just keep powering through, I'm gonna just like keep making myself really sad, and I don't think that's worth it to get a novel out. So yesterday was the halfway party, and I decided to just keep my writing away and not bring it to the party. And so I went to the party. I ate a delicious caramel brownie, and Ursula had like a cookie sundae. It was quite amazing, quite delicious. I couldn't finish the whole thing. That was like way too much chocolate for me. But, like, that was pretty alright. And we also started a new RP, which has been, like, really revitalizing for my creative brain, because I'm just, like, I've hit a wall is the big problem here, is the huge problem here. But, like, we started a new RP, I'm having lots and lots of fun with that, but the writing thing, that is not working, and it's the worst. I'm not super far behind, but, man, I am going to get there soon. So let's talk about this like a little bit. So I have hit a wall on my story, and I don't know if it's plot related. I don't know if it's just motivation related, because I am a very slow writer, as I have said at the beginning of this, but it is not coming out. I just sit down to write and like nothing happens. And like, before you give me all your suggestions, I love them, but I don't really think a lot of them are gonna work for me. Like, I don't think just powering through is going to necessarily work. Like, I think slowly powering through is gonna work, but it's gonna come at the expense of like my word count in general. I feel like I'm only gonna get like 10, 20 words a day if I just sit and try and power through. Maybe 200 if I'm lucky, because like on a good day I can write 1,600 words, maybe 200 on a really, maybe 2,000 on a really super good day. So like a bad day for me and just trying to crank out words day for me, that's like 200 words at most, and that's just not sustainable for NaNo, which is very frustrating to me. And I'm trying to not let this like put a damper on me entirely. I have a few options of how I want to proceed with this. I still want to work on the same book. Usually what I do during NaNo when this happens to me, okay, this has been like my NaNo experience for the past few years. So I write half a book, then I realize I kind of hate writing this half of the book. I am really stumped. And then I check out my last year's NaNo, which I only got halfway through. And then I write the other half of that NaNo. So like NaNo is like in 2 parts, and it just keeps me like fresh and ready to go. I don't really have another book I could work on. The only thing I'm working on right now is The Scourge of Ninepoint, my huge comic. And that is not going to give me the word count I need, because it is a comic, and comics are written even slower for me, because a few pages, like 500 words of comics, is the equivalent of like 2,500 words of like a story of prose, because the descriptions don't need to be super in depth, but the plot needs to stay at a consistent pace. So that's not going to work out. I can't just flip to The Scourge of Ninepoint. My other option, which I'm considering, is instead of focusing on reaching the 50,000K goal of NaNoWriMo, I can work towards the badge you can get at Nano, which is the, what is it? It's the 30-day check-in badge. Like, I'm on track to do that, which is making sure that you write every day of Nano. And so far, I've done that, even if it was just like 40 words or 30 words or 10 words. I have written every day so far, which I'm pretty proud of. And I think at the very least, I want to shoot for that goal. I think that is super obtainable for me. I think I'm going to keep trying to hit the 50K, at least for now, but I don't want to stress out about it because I think it will take a toll on me, like, mentally. It's just making me really depressed to think about, like, it's just really bumming me out to, like, think about the 50K because hitting really high word counts in a day is really hard for me, and catching up sounds really hard for me. I might be able to do it at the overnight write-in that happens, but I don't want to push myself to a point where I'm just, like, exhausted, and, like, I don't think it's sustainable, and I don't think it's good for me, and I've just been, like, battling with this thing in my head where it's just like, what if I can't reach Nano? Like, what does it say about me? It doesn't really say any, like, it doesn't say much about me at all, because, like, who cares in the end? I should just preach. I should practice what I preach. Like, I've been telling people that it's like, no matter how many words you get, you're still awesome. Some people, everyone just has a different process, and you shouldn't hate on yourself for doing that. So I need to give myself that same respect. Another thing I'm considering is rewriting some scenes, and counting that towards my word goal instead, because the way I typically write is kind of like my typical writing process is kind of like waves. Someone described their writing process as waves once, and I was like, oh my god, that is totally how I feel. It's like waves on the shore, like crashing into the shore, and each time they get a little further, that's kind of how I write. I don't recommend it to new people who have never finished anything or anything like that, but for me it really works, where it's like I write a first draft, I see how far I get, and then I write my second draft, and I tend to get way farther, and then usually on my second draft I can actually hit the end. I can hit my target like I wanted to from the beginning, but, you know, I don't know. I'm considering that maybe that will help me, like, get my word count and help me like some of my characters, because some of the directions that things are going in I'm not really liking, and some of the stuff I wanted to happen isn't happening, which is kind of, it's hard, and I think, like, I'm just getting burnt out on the characters, and, like, it's kind of like I want it to remain a shorter story. I want it to remain in the 50K range. So if I start adding a bunch of characters and going off following all my interests and passions, we're gonna get a, like, 150,000 word book here. Like, I'm gonna make the cast too large for me to handle, and that's not something I want to do. That's not something I'm pursuing right now. That's not my career opportunity. I want a novella out of this. And I need to keep reminding myself that regardless of what happens during this Nano, I'm still going to have the story unless I really hate it. And then it's okay for me to, like, just not do it. It's fine. I have other stories. Bones, calm down. Yeah, that's where I am at right now. I'm not sure how I'm going to proceed. You can follow me on my Nano to see my graph as it kind of plateaus. I think this graph is pretty standard for me when I'm looking at it. The only year I ever did, like, one year I did, like, exactly 1,667 words each day, but I think that was a rewrite, and rewrites are way easier for me because it's rewriting, it's adding on to stuff, and, like, typing out things I've already written. I'm gonna try my best here. I'm trying my best. Y'all are trying your best. Thank you for chilling with me. And I'm still gonna do my Nano vlogs, and I'm still gonna do my my write-ins, because, you know what, they're fun, and, you know, it's fun. It's all fun, guys. So I got some questions last video, and I'll answer them now. The first was how do I not fling myself off of a cliff or my novel off of a cliff, and man, I am there. My advice is just to follow the advice that I'm trying to follow right now, which is don't do creative work at the expense of yourself. Like, if it's really, really painful, like, physically, like, I had, like, yesterday, I literally couldn't write because I'd given myself, like, a bad hand cramp. Like, my wrist, like, I had that thing, like the compressed kind of nerve thing, like carpal tunnel, but not, you know, because it's not a disorder. But either way, my wrist was, like, killing me. It was, like, this stupid thing. It was, like, it was too much. So I just didn't write because it was not physically possible. So don't write when it's not physically possible, and also don't write when it's not mentally possible. Because where I'm at, it's just like, if I keep trying to push my writing, if I keep trying to force myself to win a goal that, like, I've won before and I know I'm capable of, you know, it's not life or death here if I win or don't win Nano. But, like, yeah, if it's really hurting you mentally, don't do it. Take a break, recharge, take care of yourself, because if you ruin yourself, you can never write any other books. Sometimes if you force yourself way too much, you kind of kill your creativity for a long time, and I don't want to do that. I came to this conclusion like a while back. I don't want to force creativity to the point where it's no longer fun, because creativity, man, it's really hard and it's really personal. And I can have a job doing non-creative or less creative, less taxing work on myself, so I might as well do that. Don't hurt yourself for your story, because you might end up hurting your story and yourself. I mean, I guess if you're hurting, you know what? This is just a ramble here, but, like, do your best. And another thing is just have fun. Do whatever you think is the most fun. Head in that direction. Head in the direction of fun. Like, sometimes there's a bit of suffering to writing a novel, and sometimes you really do just need to power through. But, like, you can kind of tell at some point you're gonna learn, or at least understand yourself and know enough to know whether this is just like, I'm just grumpy at my story, or like this is too much. Yeah, I don't know. That's quite a ramble there. How do you kill off a main character is my next question. Complete frick sequiturs, segues, non sequitur here. How to kill off the main character? Don't kill off your main character. I mean, you can kill off main characters, and you can kill off your very main character. Just do it carefully. Also, how main is your character if you're gonna kill them off halfway through the story? I mean, come on. You'd have to continue with another character unless your character becomes a ghost. This is like a really big topic about killing main characters. Like, you can definitely kill characters that are very integral to the story, but the very main character, that's like the end game. You need to have that built into your plot arc and have the ending be death. That would be like a tragedy where they're fighting against their flaw and they ultimately lose against their flaw, or death is the best option. Death is like a selfless act or something. I don't know. You really have to, when you're shaping like your plot arc, I'd assume that either their want or their need would involve death, where it's like, in order to get what they want, they need to die. Then you would build the story the same way you would any other plot arc. Just pay attention to the fact that the need would be death. Otherwise, it gets complicated and probably not the best place to address it. Maybe I should do a video on it. I don't know. I'll think about that one. How do you find the right words? Man, okay, Nano is not the time to be finding the right words. It is the time to add so many extra words to describe what the word you're looking for is. What I think you need to do if you have trouble finding the right words, for me, looking into poetry really helped with that, and also actively trying to increase my vocabulary. Reading is a really good thing. Reading diversely, and diversely I mean throughout genres, basically. Nonfiction is my go-to. And there's a lot of words that you come across on a day-to-day basis that you feel like you know, but you don't. So anytime I go to write down like a word I don't really know fully, I make sure to check its definition Like, that's basically how you build up your vocabulary, is like actively learning a new vocabulary. I subscribe to like word lists, like word of the day lists, and you can't like right away add a word to your vocabulary. You kind of have to force it for a while. When adding more words to my vocabulary, I'll be like, okay, these are the handful of words I want to start using more, and then the expansion happens. It's like when you're a kid and like you were taking like either like a foreign language studies, or you were taking like English class, and they give you like a spelling tests. They give you spelling tests or vocabulary lists. You can do that as an adult. It's fine. Don't be embarrassed of it. It's not the best way to learn, but it is definitely like part of the way. Because like, yeah, like I said, some of it is through osmosis. Other parts of it are through actively trying to increase vocabulary. I don't know if that helps. And once you have a large enough vocab, you just go for it. And I think you mentioned something about having trouble finding synonyms. Just go to the thesaurus and find words that you would usually use, and see if there's a much more specific word that you can use, because a thesaurus will give you a whole bunch of different words that have the same general vibe, but will have varying connotations. And yeah, like, learning how to expand like connotations really good. And don't focus too much on getting like too many big words. If you're using like a $5 word, it's kind of the focal point of a sentence. If you use too many large words, you kind of lose the power. You'll lose the impact. Like if you describe something with a whole bunch of really strong adjectives, like you will lose the power of each adjective the more that you add. If you really want to build up a description that is very in depth but doesn't take away from itself, look into more metaphor and literary devices, basically, because then you can use words that you would usually use and find interesting ways to go about using them. Odd descriptions are some of my favorite things. I just love this. Like literary devices, vocab, it's basically like, well, it is like an art form, and it's totally like one of my favorite parts about writing is like just kind of making like sentences and stuff. I don't know. I go to text to speech. I listen to text through audio. Like I have a lot of trouble reading text, so I find like writing and like prose is so like auditory in my head, and just finding things that sound nice together is just like the best. I don't know. I'm rambling about prose now, so what else do we got? My last question I got was, how do you write the boring scenes that are necessary to your plot? You either power through and recognize that it's boring, and when you do that, just write it really short. Just be like, this kind of happens, blah, blah, blah. Just power through, deal with it later. Or find a way to make it exciting. Like, if it's boring to you, it's going to be boring to other people. Some of the best ways to do it are like add a character you wouldn't expect to have been there in the first place, who might be like more interesting and might deliver this information in a more interesting way, or have something interesting going on while the information is being delivered. Instead of just delivering it at a kitchen table, maybe this information is delivered during a dragon battle thing that's happening. Like, that's cool. That's awesome. Just find interesting ways to say the same information. And if it has to kind of be in a boring way, put it in an interesting setting. Put it somewhere different, something where we can look at something while the information is going on. Just make it pretty. Just make it fun for yourself. And if it's fun for you, it's going to be fun for your reader. And sometimes when you're in the weeds of writing something and you think it's really boring, it's probably not boring. You might have just thought about it a lot. And in that case, just power through. Just get it out. It sucks. I hate it. I am totally with you, but like pushing it out of you, it's sometimes the best thing you need to do with those boring scenes. And then later, when you look back at them and you realize they are actually boring, like you thought they were, then you add the dragon battle. Or maybe you find out that it wasn't boring at all, and you're just like sick of your story while you're writing it. So there you go. That's my opinion I don't know what your opinion on that is. So yeah, it's been a bummer of a week. I'm going to try really hard for the next week to not be a bummer. That's going to be my goal. I'm going to focus less on word goals and focus more on like just being happy and enjoying Nano again. And hopefully that'll go well. And maybe that will result in more words. And if not, that's cool. I'm still a cool person. I still love myself. I'm still happy with all the words that I've gotten so far, because there are 20,000 words that I would not have written otherwise, and that's something to be proud of, right? Yeah. I also am really happy with all my other stuff. I've been happy with YouTube, happy with live streams, happy with the store stuff, happy with social media stuff, happy with the Moonlight Anthology stuff. Got a whole bunch of submissions for that, and I'm so excited for the end of November when I will finally get to read all of the things that people have submitted to me. There's still a chance to submit to my anthology and possibly make comics and short stories and get them all printed and stuff. I don't know, this is a ramble. Thank you so much for coming by. If you have any questions, you know where to leave them. Maybe, I hope. If not, you know, you can't ask me because you don't know where to leave a question. Okay, goodbye. See ya.